Irish guy, and Ireland have broken my heart. Right now, I feel like a 12-year-old who's just got spat at in the face by Santa Claus down his local Tesco. As an Irishman, I am not used to being invited to the football tournament party anymore. I feel like that teenage nerdish bookworm who has to stay home every Saturday night peeling skin off his obese auntie's feet while the rest of his classmates are out dancing to the Black Eyed Peas and drinking chocolate-flavored beer. Euro 2024 is just another tournament that I have to look at on the telly, but why? Why should that be the case? Let's look at the Euro 2024 qualifying groups. We live in a world where Scotland, yes, Scotland, are 9 points ahead of Spain, absolutely soaring high at the top of Group A. They've got a fat chunk of meatloaf and Che Adams up front, and yet he's laughing all the way down to Erling Haaland in third. Right now, I am jealous of Scotland. We live in a world where Albania, despite having individual footballers who are about as talented as homeless dogs, they are cruising through to this competition. No, sorry, no. It gets worse. Tiny little Moldova, something which sounds like a brand of jam, a country who 6 months ago failed to beat the Faroe Islands on home turf. You know, a collection of players who probably had to ask for time off from their day job from, I don't know, milking sheep on the side of a hill. And yet little old Moldova are joint second in their group. This is not fair. Kazakhstan, actual Kazakhstan, a nation who are only relevant in popular culture thanks to some middle-aged comedian pranking the world nearly 20 years ago. They are actually in the hunt to qualify, as are Luxembourg. I mean, for the first 15 years of my life, I wasn't even sure that country actually existed. I thought it was just a make-believe place like Never Neverland or the Shire, and yet both they and Slovakia are neck and neck to qualify alongside Portugal. Meanwhile, Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, despite us being in possession of a potential £100 million super buy for Man City, we are pitifully languishing on 3 mouldy points. Sitting 4th in Group B, the only team below us in our group is Gibraltar, a literal rock. I mean, you could round up every single living person in Gibraltar, and they still wouldn't be enough to fill Derby County Stadium. Listen, we were beaten 2-0 away at France last week. No complaints here. But we just had a monster do-or-die match against the Netherlands at home. The Aviva Stadium was packed and bouncing. Our fans were ready to see us pull off a miracle and record a historic night of actually seeing off Holland, just like we did in 2001 to qualify for the World Cup. Here's the difference though. Back in 2001, our starting 11 were all playing in the Premier League for Newcastle United, Leeds United, Manchester City, Aston Villa, Leeds United again, Sunderland, Ipswich Town, Sunderland again, Manchester United, Leeds United again, and Blackburn Rovers. I mean, this was in an era where Man United won the league, and Leeds, Ipswich, Sunderland, and Aston Villa were all in the top 8. But now, our starting 11 against the Dutch: Southampton, Brentford, Norwich City, Sheffield United, Wolves, Preston North End, Burnley, Wrexham, Luton Town, Bristol City, and Norwich again. I mean, Christ, well, do not get me started on James McLean for a huge monster match against elite opposition, a country who nearly knocked Argentina out of the World Cup in Qatar last Christmas. We started this match with a League 2 level wing back. I don't care that he has over 100 caps to his name. This is a guy who just signed up for absolute pig fudge level football at Deadpool's Freak Show in Wales. I mean, this guy who just played 90 minutes away at Tranmere Rovers, and we think that that is an acceptable warm-up to now try and stop the likes of Denzel Dumfries and Xavi Simons on that right wing. 2 players who between them already have monster clubs like PSV, Inter Milan, Barcelona, Juventus, and PSG ticked off on their CV. I mean, the biggest interest McLean ever got was just MLS interest from New York Red Bulls when he was at his peak. Instead, McLean has been trying to chase the W throughout his entire career. Wigan, West Brom, Wigan again, and Wrexham. Yeah, that sounds like the most boring road trip from hell. But here, asking a nearly 35-year-old McLean to defend, he was asleep for both goals, as Dumfries stole in behind the entire defence to win a penalty in the first half, before Wout Weghorst, the king of the W's, just walked through unmarked to nip in a second to absolutely kill the game at the start of the second half. Lads, Ryan Manning is an actual 27-year-old left back who for the last 3 seasons has excelled at Swansea City, earned himself a freebie move to Southampton in the summer. Why is he not playing over a mouldy gingerbread man like McLean? But it wasn't just him. Shane Duffy. This is a guy who dropped so deep for both goals, playing everyone on sides. Look, I like Duffy. He's been a good servant for us, but let's be real. Over the last 3 years, he has been deemed not good enough for Brighton, Celtic, Fulham, and let's be honest, soon to be Norwich. I realize he's a huge colossal monster at corner kicks. I know he's like the dirty Frankenstein, but can Stephen Kenny actually start to chuck the actual future into the starting 11? Andrew Obama Daly. Andy O is a 21-year-old centre-half who just swapped Norwich for Nottingham Forest on deadline day for £11 million. I know he's got an eventual loan move to Olympiacos written all over his face, but still, can we put him in the 11 now? The way Irish football is right now, it's depressing. Soccer in Ireland is not even our national sport. Most of you might not even know, but GAA, Gaelic football and hurling, has become our #1 sport. I mean, the All-Ireland hurling final is played in front of 80,000 spectators at Croke Park. Television coverage usually peaks at 1 million viewers. And get this, people, the players don't even get paid, just their travel expenses on the bus. That's it. It's still officially an amateur sport, and Ireland are ranked #1 in the world for rugby. I mean, the team just scored over 80 points in a World Cup match last week, but I don't care. All of that just leaves me cold. Football is my sport. I want our football team to be doing well, to be qualifying for tournaments, but instead, it's just been left to rot like a vegetable pie in the back of Jonah Hill's fridge. Lads, Holland were there for the taking last night. Trust me, in that first half, they could not cope with the Aviva atmosphere. You won't believe me, because on paper, Ronald Koeman's back three was comprised of the Liverpool captain, a Manchester City treble winner, and a Bayern Munich superstar, who is the most expensive centre-half of all time in combined transfer fees. But they defended like absolute terrified sheep, desperately trying to outrun a wolf, with sheep wee trickling down their leg. Lads, the Dutch were never going to be as bad in that second half, after being lectured at half-time by an experienced Barcelona great. But did we capitalise in the first half? Oh no, of course not. When we had a centre forward who was too afraid to shoot, I want Adam Ida to do well, but he is a nearly 23-year-old centre forward with less than 9 career league goals to his name. And lads, Ida joined Norwich the same summer that Neymar joined PSG. That is a long time ago. Look, the manager is not good enough. Obviously. Yes, he tries to play adventurous pretty football, playing out from the back, but so what? Most modern managers like to do that. The truth is that this fella, CV, is not international quality. It's not even League One quality. I mean, what exactly about St. Pat's under-19s, Longford Town, Bohemians, Derry City, Dunfermline Athletic, Derry City, Shamrock Rovers, or Dundalk looks intimidating to you? I mean, he just looks like an ordinary postman who's trapped in a miserable marriage with his wife. He could literally walk down any street in England and not get bothered for a selfie once. I mean, last night he was faced with a guy who, yes, does look like if Todd of Breaking Bad spent 10 years living in Burger King, but Coleman has got monster clubs written on his CV. I mean, his most recent team was Barcelona, managing literal Messi. And lads, last week, Didier Deschamps, before him, coached Monaco, Juventus, Marseille, and has managed in a World Cup final twice. Even the other team in the group, Greece. Yes, because Poya is a managerial tea towel, but still, he's been a coach at Swindon Town, Leeds, Tottenham, then a manager at Brighton, Sunderland, AEK Athens, Real Betis, Shanghai Shenhua, Bordeaux, and Universidad Católica. That is a man who has added different coaching philosophies and ideas from stints in England, Greece, Spain, China, France, and Chile. I mean, compare that with Kenny, who has spent most of his career operating out of Dublin and County Louth. I mean, forget the meaningless friendlies when the pressure is off. This man has had 23 competitive games in charge of Ireland, and we have scored 18 goals in those games. Just 18. It's not good enough. We have failed to score in 14 different matches when Kenny's been at the wheel. And even in the games where we did score, I mean, what exactly is impressive about beating Malta 1-0 away from home? Malta! Actual little Malta! A stone in the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, sure, half the Irish squad probably got to get drunk in Patchaville that night before eating some seaweed on a beach in Gozo, but other than that, we need a quality manager.
Oh, but Irish guy, nobody wants to manage Ireland. Kenny is the best you can do.
Ha 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 ha. 15 years ago, we appointed a manager who coached AC Milan, Juventus, Inter Milan, Bayern Munich, Cagliari, Fiorentina, Italy, Benfica, Stuttgart, and strangely, Red Bull Salzburg. Giovanni Trapattoni. He was named European Coach of the Year twice. He won 7 Serie A titles as manager. He lifted the league title in Germany, Portugal, and Austria. Was a Champions League winning manager with Juventus. And he also won 3 Europa Leagues. That was back when we were actually ambitious when it came to appointing managers. I mean, he had also pipped Roy Hodgson to the post. Yes, we actually interviewed Hodgson, the future Liverpool and England boss, who at the time was coach of Finland. But I'm sorry, you know what that means? That the FAI, after dumping Steve Staunton as coach, interviewed 2 blokes who used to manage Inter Milan. That would be the equivalent of us now sacking Kenny and having both Antonio Conte and Rafa Benitez in the Ireland waiting room. That was ambition. But now, I want Lee Carsley, and I want him now. That backroom team who helped England win the Under-21 European Championships. I want that in charge of Ireland now. Carsley is a man brimming with utter, modern, tactical intelligence. Yes, you might remember him just being that bald egg nugget in Everton's midfield under David Moyes, but as a coach over the last 10 years has worked at Coventry City, Brentford, Manchester City under-18s, Birmingham City under-23s, England under-20s, and England under-21s. He's also got 40 Ireland caps to his name. Right now he's got a backroom team featuring the likes of Ashley Cole and Jolene Lescott. Yes, please. I would take them both. I mean, forget coaching for a second. I would sooner have a 42-year-old Ashley Cole playing left wing back for us than a mouldy ginger biscuit like McLean. Ireland want to play good football, right? Fine. Well, Carsley is a coach who was literally headhunted by both Manchester City and the England FA. That alone is far more impressive to CV than Kenny, who was sacked by Dunfermline Athletic after a year. The only worry for Carsley would be that once a manager leaves their role as Ireland manager, these were the laughable immediate next jobs the previous Ireland managers had to take. Mick McCarthy was given 8 games at Apple Nicosia in Cyprus. Martin O'Neill was only allowed 19 games as boss of Nottingham Forest in the Championship. The great Trapattoni was given just a few games as manager of the Vatican City. I mean, who was in attendance? The Pope and his mum? And before him, Steve Staunton went on to get fired after just 25 games with Darlington in League 2. Before him, Brian Kerr had to beg the Faroe Islands for a job. You might say the Ireland job is cursed and doomed. But honestly, get Carsley, or I'm gonna say it, even Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer. Yes, I'm that desperate. I see he just turned down the chance to manage the Norway women's team. Would he say no to the Ireland men's team? That shows how desperate I am that even now I'm coveting Ollie. But honestly, right now, being an Ireland fan is so incredibly depressing. Where is the hope? Anyway, that's the video. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know in the comments what... Just let me know what you think. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to go like, as always. I'll talk to you in a while.